Okay, welcome back to part two of our system design. If you followed along with the last one, you will end up with a system look something like this. Although it may have slight differences, especially in these speakers. If you want to change them up, by all means, take out the first speaker at 9 and 10 before you replace them though. But this is actually what we'll end up with correctly in our design. But it doesn't matter. Leave the ones you have if you can't be bothered with that. That's completely fine. Now, I took a little bit of time to make an interface for this. We're not going to make one together right now. That's actually going to be a later step in this design, is creating the UCI. But I made it to show you how this system would basically end up looking and working and feeling in a very general outline. I didn't take a lot of time with this, but it will show you what we're talking about. So here's my main page for my UCI. You see a number of pages, which is kind of good. And we've got them lined up along the bottom here, which means we can switch through them if we want to. You'll see I have EQs basically on all these channels. For the different foldbacks. They're not very nicely arranged yet. That's fine. This was all just very thrown together. I've got the entire amp status control available on page 2 and amp 2. We may not end up including that. We might put it on a separate utilities or diagnostics page later on down the track. But if you see here, I have the ability to change the crossover point for the split between subs and mains, which is lovely. I have a sub level that I can adjust the sub level. I can mute and unmute. I have meters, I have clip indicators. This is all like kind of getting there. I have a level for each monitor send as well. And of course, I have the ability to set the delay time on the delays from this front panel. So this would be what our general systems engineer would have access to get the system working with the console as it's being sent. So let's emulate. I just want to show you how this works at the moment. And what we're going to discover when we look at this is that this is a lovely concept, but a dreadful execution. In fact, we'll give it sort of a B+ for concept and a C- for execution. It sort of works, but we're going to find that there's a few things that it does that are not ideal for a system management situation, particularly if for a school we really want teachers and other staff to be able to drive the system within safe limits without causing any problems or having anything go too wrong, even accidentally if a kid's running a show. So we want to keep this within some limits, which at the moment it kind of doesn't do. If I adjust my crossover, I can go all the way down to 10 hertz, which is insane, and all the way up to 20 kilohertz. So setting a decent crossover point is a bit hit and miss here. As you can see, I mean, I can always type it in, but I won't be able to do that on an iPad. So that's not really ideal. At the sub level as well, if you'll see, this is just a normal fader attached, and I can put it all, I can add 20 dB of sub level. That's probably going to be catastrophic in any real world situation. And since most people put the faders up there, so that's not ideal. Again, I have to type in to get it back to 0. Delays, again, hard to set anything to, you can see it's being a difficult thing, and it goes all the way up to 500 milliseconds. Again, this is not ideal. We don't need 500 milliseconds of delay. We'd be in a room, a very, very long room, a stupidly long room. We wouldn't need that. We're going to be in the sub 80 milliseconds range with our delays at maximum. So that's far from ideal. And again, with the monitors, we're going to see, we can do plus 20, minus 100 dB on the monitor. We really don't need that range. We just want to be able to bump up a little bit, taper it off a little bit if it's problematic. So this is really not going to work very well the way it is it? And that's a little bit disappointing if we've gone to the trouble of building a UCI. However, obviously in the background and to prepare those lessons, I have taken this design somewhat further. We are going to, over the next little while, end up taking it from looking like this. I'm just going to stop emulating so I can show you where we will end up. And that is like this with our design. That's a whole lot more complicated. I'll just give you a second to have a look at that. But if you take some note of a couple of things I'd like to point out. Things are inside sections, so you know what's going on in there, and they're labelled, which is kind of nice. Also color coded. All the infrastructure stuff, I've just made it black in the background here. Here's a peak meter, which is over here. So we can see what's happening inside the design. This is what I've basically tried to do here quite a bit. I'm using tags now instead of connection lines like we had in the other one. And as you can see, the mix goes through, and it's purple all the way through its graphic EQ to its stereo crossover. Its peak limiter, it's still in the high box, the mix, to the speakers, and the tags are all the same. But what I've done here is I've gone out to the grey, which is the sub, which again, the speakers, this, and you'll notice down here I've got some custom controls that are affecting the sub area. We have quite a few custom controls there, isn't that interesting? We also have a custom control for the delay. We have a channel group, which is a new component I'm going to introduce you to, as well as custom controls. We have our friend the selector here from our last design. So we already know what the selector does. And interestingly enough, there's a value displayed here. The milliseconds are displayed here. The crossover point is displayed here of a high pass filter for the monitors, which I can bypass in the design, which is kind of nice. I have custom controls in here for the gain of each cent. If you remember on my original UCI, we were pushing up and the monitors were going up by 20 dB, which is insane and will be incredibly problematic. It'll push against, it's just going to sound horrible and all that gain structure will disappear. It's going to be horrible. We don't want the kids able to do that to themselves or their teachers or the surrounding suburbs, frankly, and certainly not to the insurance company. So we are going to limit the way they can do that. So we're going to end up here. So let's set about doing that by going back to our other design. I'm going to actually kill this one. I'll show you the UCI another time. Here we go. So we're now in this little fellow here. We are going to change a few things up. First things first, I'm going to make some tabs. I'm going to get rid of these cables and I'm going to click into channel 1 and then hit the space bar, and now I can create a tab called mix left. I hit enter, now there's a mix left. You see the jagged end, it just means it's not connected to anything yet. I'm going to hit this one and mix right. Good. I'm going to do in here, I'm going to do delay left. Whoops. Delay right. Good. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. It's not double click. It is spacebar. Good. Mon 1. Mon 2. Oops. If you make a mistake like that, you'll say name's already used. That's fine. We go back, and now it's Mon 2. Very good. That's much nicer. Disaster averted. Okay, Mon 3. Fabulous. And we go for Mon 4. Wonderful. Now, obviously, I can hook these up to here. Mix left, mix right, delay left, delay right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. So now we've replaced our lines with tabs, which work a lot nicer. Okay, great. Now I'm going to get rid of these. Again, we just want to keep things neat. So first of all, I'm going to go high left, which is actually what it's called there, but we'll make the tab instead. All right. Okay, great. And again, we are just going to get the high right, low left, low right. So these tags just make life easier. The beautiful thing about the tags is that you can actually use them on other pages. If this goes to several pages of design, which we're not going to do, but you often will in QSYS, especially in complex, big installations, you will need multiple places where these tabs will appear. So you can use them across pages and they will still connect, which is absolutely lovely. I'm going to call this del left, why not? If it's different to delay, we need to have a discrete signal pathway here, because if it was just delay, that's the same thing as here. We want it to be affected. So here we go. Now we're del left, del right. This is how we're going to route things around. Beautiful. I can do this as well. This might be slightly tedious. Fast forward or do it at the same pace. I'm easy. So I'm going to call this top box left, top box right. Once again, we need a discrete path. I'm going to call this sub left and subs right. Yes, we do run stereo subs. Yes, we do run stereo subs. Of course, we run stereo subs. What else are we going to run? Beautiful. Now I need top box, subs, subs. Very nice. Let's do our monitors. I know it's tedious. It has to be done. This is going to make for a very neat design. Trust me. Okay, so I want to start naming these just before they hit the amps so that it comes out as what it's supposed to be. And so what it will supposed to be is actually, this is the downstage left one. Oh, sorry, downstage right. This is center, downstage center, downstage left, and drum fill, or DF. Cool. Let us hook these up to the amplifier channels. So we want DSR, which unhelpfully is not in alphabetical order, so you don't make the mistake of having the wrong one. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. Actually want that to have DSC. I messed that up. Yep, we don't need that. We want to have actually be. Sure, I'm just going to delete that. Very good. Let's go downstage center. Beautiful. Thank you. Downstage left. Good. And drum fill. Sorry, there was a bit of a hold up there. Let us also do this last pair here. We won't worry about these speaker cables. These are actually speaker cable, by the way. These are not a network connection. These are the cable connection from the amplifier to the speakers. These are running in passive mode, receiving from the amplifier outputs at full power. So this actually represents speaker cable over here, this orange. So we won't be replacing those with tags. Let's make our delay send. Let's go delay send left, delay send right. Great, and they can come up here. Delay send. Oops. That didn't work. Sure. Right, because I'm in the second channel. Wonderful. It's not always smooth sailing with designer. Great. But if you persevere, you'll end up with the right thing. Right. So now we have basically what we need to have there for the moment. Okay, so we have a couple of things that we probably want to add in here, actually, and I'm going to do that now. I need some more schematic elements, and what I need is, I like the search, gain. Thank you. I need gain here. I need a gain here. I need a gain here. I need a gain here. However, I've been a bit silly. I need to actually do some stuff here. What I would like to have is we are going to do a custom control for the fallback send gain before it hits the peak limiter. We always want the peak limiter to be the last thing before the amplifiers. This is to protect the amplifiers from overlevel and therefore the speakers as well. So everything downrange of the peak limiters is going to be protected by them, and that's really one of the major points of a speaker management system, is to protect the speakers and the amplifiers from damage from over-enthusiastic audio reproduction, is how I like to term it. And this can be simple mistakes of someone pointing a microphone at a speaker at the wrong moment. And if you're dealing with school-age children of primary or even high school, this is not uncommon. So we're going to protect our system with the peak limiters from that. So everything needs to happen before the peak limiters as the last point in the chart. I just wanted to make an emphasis of that. So this gain here is going to be the gain for Mon 1. We're going to need to control it in a very interesting way, though, because we saw before on the mock-up UCI design that it was too much level that I was able to give the signal even before the peak limiter. We're still going to distort and have all sorts of horrors and gain problems if we are running the monitors at plus 20, even into a peak limiter. It's going to protect the speakers and the amp, but it's not going to protect the rest of our audio. So the same thing would end up happening. So we're going to custom control the range of the gain with a custom control. This is essentially what we're going to do. So what I want to do is go to a properties now. I have to pull this tab out. And you see I have control pins appear because I've got this selected. I'll show you again. So there's nothing there. If I select the gain, now I have control pins. We've done this before, but I'd like to just actually enable the gain pin on that. Right now, I'm going to Alt. So I'm going to copy. I've got 4 of these, which is fine. Great. Now, to make things look nice, I'm actually going to line these up as I go so that we're not causing great consternation later on with the dreadful appearance of our design. We don't want that. We want nice designs. This is not going so well. Let me try this. Let me do my wonderful distribute. Okay, that's close enough for rock right now. So I would like to do a bit of this for a moment. So that's the graphic EQ from the Mon going into the gain, and the gain will be going into the peak limiter, which is fine. For now, we're just going to wire these. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I really do. I really don't like it when that happens. Let's just do that. Great. Okay, good. But what we want is we want some custom controls. I'm going to introduce a custom control here for the gains on the monitors. So what we want to have is obviously custom control. So we start typing in custom control. There they are. So let's grab out 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now custom controls, like many of these sort of more logic-based components that we are seeing in QSys Designer, do not come with the outputs attached. You actually need to enable them to be something before that. So with custom controls, they can be many things. What we want these to be over here in the properties, if we go into type we actually want to turn it into a level knob. Why not? As you can see now, the level pin has come up underneath it, which is fine. I'm just going to move these down so there. Whoops, don't get them out of order. That would be bad. Okay, and I want a little low. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of these because I'm going to make the first custom control and then I'm going to copy it out. So I want a level knob. It's a count of 1. That's fine. Default range is -100 to 20. Okay, so that's what we've got at the moment. So we're going to customize the range is what we're going to do. And the minimum we're going to make it is -6. And the maximum we're going to make it is 3. So let's copy that. Copy that again. And copy that again. Okay, great. I'm going to make a tag for this to be monitor 1 gain. So I'm going to say M1G